dying. Anyway, so hopefully this will be the last episode because I don't know what can happen further. We've already decided that we are going to go after Kerr. Oh my god. Is that his name? Anyway, so we've already established that she's not going to be an official knight, but she still is a knight and stuff. And let's just see where this goes. Let's just load up where we left off last time, where we returned to the village of Barry, if I remember that correctly. We were at Barry. So let's do this. Scoot my microphone closer. Can you hear me better? Good. Okay. So, fortunately, we did not remain long in Oliver. We were able to find a Barry resident who had delivered the last of his cargo to the city, and he offered to give us a ride back. We took it easy as we relaxed on the back of the wagon. I was still emotionally fatigued, but did my best to remain engaged in conversation, especially since it now tackled more sensitive issues. The wagon ride was smooth, but whenever a jolt or bump happened, I would stir or bolt upright. However, I was able to have a nice nap for a little while. My eyelids fluttered as I heard Mari and Kerr's voice drift in and out. It was Kerr. I'm glad I remembered his name right. Bringing it up to Master Arcilio. It's about time the Seraphis looked beyond the Skylands. Seraphis? Did I say that right? Pff, good luck getting them involved, pompous dragon kind. What really concerns me is how Heavenkind even found the Seraphis remains. They shouldn't have any means of accessing them. I'll see if Master Bedros will arrange a meeting. Right. I'll have to break this to Master Kaya gently. She'll be even more reluctant getting involved. I can't imagine her reaction. Oh my, this is why you shouldn't interact with Heavenkind. The high-pitched voice caused Mari to burst out laughing. Oh, was I supposed to do that high-pitched? The reaction is why you should react with Heavenkind. I don't even remember what she said. I could go back, but I'm not going to. She doesn't sound... Okay, she does. You're more observant than I thought. I heard an exasperated groan. Because she's always with Master Bedros, and I'm stuck listening to her, uptight. Ah, you're up. Planning to sleep the whole afternoon away? I yawned, rubbing my eyes as I surveyed our location. We were passing through the birch forest near Barry, and I was leaning against Kerr's shoulder. Mari was sitting across from us, his hands folded in his lap. Yeah, I'm up. What were you two discussing? Just a lot of stuff we have to do once we return. Sooner the better. His face fell as he said that, but he forced a smile to reassure me. And Kerr was entertaining me with invitations. I wasn't even trying, but I could probably do better than Aura. I thought back to the scene in the forest when I poked fun at him during a meal. I admit, it wasn't the most accurate impression. Kerr grinned teasingly. Oh god. I'm just gonna do my regular voice for her. Hi, I'm Arlie from Barry. I let my sword do the talking and ow. There you go. Perfect. I elbowed him and grumbled. I deny all that. Mari found the whole thing amusing. Me, imitate me. Kerr and I exchanged a smirk. I have a question. I have another question. I do not ask that many questions. Do I? Mari, that was another... Ah! The wagon bumped abruptly, and I bolted upright, clenching my chest to quell my reaction. A sturdy hand grabbed my shoulder, and Kerr eased me back to my original sitting position. You okay? It was only a jolt. I heard the driver apologize while I waited for my heart to calm down. Yeah, I just didn't expect it. As I trailed off, I turned towards Kerr only to see his face peering at mine, causing my cheeks to blush. I quickly glanced away. I heard a polite cough as Mari interrupted the flustered atmosphere. I hope you don't mind me asking, where did this fear of earthquakes originate? Well... Sorry to pry. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's alright. It's not usually brought up, since it's rare for me to get caught in earthquakes or tremors. I ummed and hermed until I figured out a good beginning point. Story time, guys! It started when... Well, when I was younger, my family lived in Oliver. I would follow my mom everywhere when she did her patrols or visited different places. Now that I think about it, although some parts were still hazy, I recalled being thrilled because I was going somewhere that had a lot of knights. Their brilliant armor, their beautiful shining blades, and how I dragged this wooden sword awkwardly around. It was at the academy. It was being expanded upon, and some parts were in the middle of renovation. I ran off somewhere. I think I wanted to find the armor room or something. Anyway, that's when the earthquake hit. I don't remember much, just everything seemed to collapse around me. After that, I couldn't ride in carriages or even enter large buildings without crying. Mom decided it would be better for us to move away from Oliver and the memories associated with it. It took a long time, but eventually I got over certain fears. I focused on my night training, hoping to be stronger. Of course, my mom wouldn't send me to the academy. She'd always been adverse to night academies for other reasons, but my well-being definitely was one of them. Wow, that's the first time I have ever told people this story. Aren't you too lucky? No, I really appreciate it. I'm glad you trust us enough to tell us.
As an earth dragon, though, I can't stand for it.
What? He gave a wry grin.
You got some fears. Oh, you got over some fears. If you like, I can help you get over this earthquake one. Smirk, smirk, purple eye, blink.
No, that won't be necessary.
You sure? I'm certain if I delivered small tremors, your body will eventually get used to it. Think of it as a cure.
What kind of tremors you talking about there, Mr. Oh, God. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to be fun, and I don't think it's working. Anyway. That's terrible. You won't help me at all. Why would you call that torment anyway? There was an awkward pause before Mari spoke up. Shock treatment? I groaned and shook my head, yet I couldn't help but chuckle at his feeble pun. Congratulations, Mari. You have mastered heaven-kind humor and everything there is to know about our culture. There is nothing more to teach you. Kerr glanced between us quizzically, as if determined to figure out the pattern.
I don't know. I felt the delivery was a little rocky.
Mari burst out laughing. I could only gawk at Kerr, who seemed pleased at his own joke. I made a cross with my arms, like, really, dude? Really? Bad jokes? Bad jokes. Banning this, banning puns. As we pestered each other relentlessly, I slumped down and glanced up at the sky, wondering when these interactions would become second nature and routine, or had become second nature and routine. And it was all coming to an end. Not that we could help it. They had amends to make for running away. And now we'd uncovered something rather disquieting. They had to return and report to their masters. Once we reached Barry, the driver was kind enough to wheel us directly outside of my family home. I eagerly hopped out of the wagon. It was evening, and I could see light from within my house. I had barely touched the door knob when the entrance flew open and my mother hugged me tightly. Mom. For a moment, I couldn't breathe because she was embracing me so tightly. When she finally let go, she grabbed my shoulders and examined me. You're home. Congratulations on saving the world. Mom, I didn't do anything that amazing. Did you become a knight? Acorn. Are you happy? Yeah, I'm glad I went. She hugged me a second time. That's what a mother really wants to hear. She glanced up. Come in. We were going to have dinner ready in a bit. You're probably all starving. Your dad's currently preparing some warm apple cider. Nice. I haven't had that since last year. After Mom ushered us in, she disappeared around the corner while I pulled up a seat at the table. Kerr even joined us this time.
What's apple cider?
It's a sweet liquid. Tastes like, well, apple tarts. He stood up and slammed both palms on the table.
I went through the whole journey without knowing such a thing exists.
He looked as though his best friend had betrayed him. Surprise! Not deterred, Kerr decided to see how my dad prepared dinner and vanished as well. I hope my dad isn't making the alcoholic cider. Alcohol? It's something you add to drinks and it makes people silly and giddy. He beamed eagerly. We will have to partake. I crossed my arms and shook my head fervently. That was a disaster waiting to happen. You don't get dragons drunk. Oh no, that's banned. I'm not dealing with drunk dragons. Mari looked completely baffled, but inquired no further thanks to my unwavering expression. Regular cider will suffice, promise. We had a festive meal along with a toast to our journey and the bonds it had forged. We excitedly told our stories, careful to avoid the more sensitive discoveries, as we did not want to cause any unnecessary concern. My sides had never hurt so much from laughing before, and my mouth ached from grinning all the time. However, each sip of cider seemed to lose its sweetness whenever I thought about tomorrow. Right, they would leave in the morning. When dinner was concluded, I urged my friends to get some fresh air, since I would help with the cleanup. They would probably want to have some time to themselves to reflect or visit a location anyway. I trooped up to my room and laid my bag out. Everything felt so familiar and welcoming, like I had never left. Sensing a sort of routine, I snatched up my blanket to use as a shawl. Might as well. This would probably be the last time to meet them like this. It's not over. Okay. Mari was settled by one of the apple trees, its orange leaves visible even in the dark. Instead of waiting for me to sit down, he got up eagerly and approached me. Thank you for coming out to see me. I wasn't sure if I should bother you at your house. I wouldn't have minded. Soaking in the scenery one last time. Yes, I love it here. I'm not sure when I'll be allowed to visit another Heavenkind town again. I couldn't hide my dejected expression, and Mari fidgeted anxiously. Without worrying, Mari embraced me tightly. I'm really going to miss you. I wanted this journey to go on forever. Same here, Mari. How long will you be gone for? You'll be allowed to visit at least, right? I'll do everything I can. I'm going to see if I can encourage writing and recording in Dragonkind culture. It'll probably lessen the roles of Knowledge Keeper somewhat, but then it'll allow us more freedom. We let go, his hand still clutching my shoulders. Mari, it sounds like you're going to change the system. It won't happen overnight, of course, but I'm sure to promote more Heavenkind and Dragonkind interaction. If you keep up your reading lessons, I promise I'll write letters to you. I'm not even sure how they arrived where you are. I'm guessing you don't have an address. An address? His lips quivered and he hugged me again. This is so unfair. You still have so much to teach me about Heavenkind, about you. I know. Believe me, I feel the same way. I rubbed his back comfortingly, letting my fingers comb through his hair. I devoted my memory to the form of his figure in our embrace. Nothing more needed to be said, and we remained in the hug for a few more minutes. When Mari's shoulders stopped trembling and his breathing became calmer, I slowly stepped back, dropping my arms. I really can't thank you enough for everything. I'm grateful that I got the chance to join you and Kerr. At least you two will stick together from now on, right? A pained look appeared on his face. Yes, but what about you? I'll be fine. I'll keep myself busy. You won't be the only one with your hands full. That reminds me, where is Kerr? I need to say goodnight to him, too. I think he's closer to your home. I thought he'd be further away. He likes the pastry strip that your house has. Always about the pastries, is that right, Kerr? I see. Yeah, figures. We burst out laughing. Remembering the blanket, I draped it around Mari. You sure you won't be cold tonight? You can always spend the night indoors. He shook his head, but held the blanket close to his chest. Kerr and I will be fine. I'll see you in the morning, Arlie. I departed on a high note. Now I just had to find Kerr. Mari was right about Kerr loitering near my house. In fact, he was resting against the wall outside as I peered around the corner. Surprise visit! Stealth is my strong point. He arched an unimpressive eyebrow. I wasn't surprised at all. I heard you stomping all over town. I was not stomping. I was walking normally. I plopped down in front of him, resting on my knees. He was sitting cross-legged, his hands gripping his ankles. Looking forward to tomorrow? I read that backwards, but that's okay. I half expected a blunt yes, or a grumbled agreement. Instead, I was answered with an awkward silence. Kerr? He snapped out of his trance. I guess. At least I won't be pathetically weak. Believe me, you are still plenty strong in this form. You'll probably lose your ability to punch, though. Can dragons even do that? I'll be the first one to try it. He made a fist and mimed a fake punch to my forehead, nudging it softly. I giggled. No, it's all coming down to this. I guess I might as well say a few things. I smirked and peeked at him knowingly. Is this another reluctant confession?
He let out a sheepish chuckle. More willingly promise. I wanted to say thanks for everything. I admit I was a pain at first. I probably didn't make it easy for you, right?
Right.
You didn't have to agree so quickly. I guess I really was quarrelsome. I regret not opening up to you earlier. I felt like I created a lot of unpleasant memories. I gave him a light punch in the arm to dissuade his conviction.
What are you talking about? I look fondly over them all, even our bickering and petty arguments. I like to think we matured since then, at least a little. Speaking about confessing, there's a small question that has been nagging at me ever since we met. I never asked because I knew you'd get upset. I'd like to think the Kerr now will answer differently. He perked up quizzically.
And what is that?
I touch your ears?
She finally asked. His hand met his face and he groaned loudly. Fine, just for a moment.
Eee! Oh, this sparkle. I wish I could touch them too. Still on my knees, I position myself so I can lean over better and extend my arms. He glowered at me in disgruntlement, but I ignored his expression as my fingers rubbed the shale-like material. Wow, they really are as hard as rock. As I let my fingers graze the grooves and crevices, Kerr's irritation vanished and his eyes lingered downwards towards my neck. Wondering if I was making him uncomfortable, I let go, but he reached out and enveloped my back with his arms, pulling me close. He's totally blushing, guys! Look at that blush! Oh, so cute. Kerr? His jaw brushed against my neck, and I felt something moist graze my skin. My body turned rigid, and my mind screamed alarm bells. What? I instantly punched him and fell on my rear, shuffling back and wiping my neck frantically. What are you doing? Aura. Oh gosh, the comment about dragons eating heavenkind was right. Aura. I don't taste good, I swear. I work out a lot, so I'm probably all tough and... Calm down, I thought we were companions. How could you? It's not like that. I don't even think I could do his voice right anymore. His proclamation startled me and I just punched myself in the chin. And I allowed myself to relax. Sorry for my overreaction. Kerr gave me a pained look, then gingerly grabbed my hand. I promise I won't do it again, if you don't panic. Right. I think he was kissing her neck. Like, Jesus. Damn it, Aurelie. You ruined it. Anyway, he held me close once again. This time, I remained quiet, although my heart still fluttered wildly from our proximity. I heard a deep chuckle in his throat. For someone who can remain composed in battle, you sure act irrationally when it comes to affection. I'm sorry. It's not something I'm used to. Neither am I. Seriously, that took all my courage just to... Hesitantly, he lowered his head, pausing for a moment before delicately nuzzling my neck with his nose. He stopped and rested his chin on my shoulder. Heavenkind have such short necks. Pardon me for not being born a dragon. He pulled away, gazing to my eyes with a pained expression. Why weren't you? Huh? If you were an earth dragon, I would have asked you to be my... He trailed off and gave a defeated smile, resting his forehead against mine. Click. I wish I didn't feel this strongly for you. It's going to make saying goodbye that much harder. How would a heavenkind express this feeling? Oh, guys. Okay. I could feel my cheeks burn up as I thought of an answer. Pushing aside the butterflies in my stomach, I closed my eyes and tilted my head. Like this. I delivered a light kiss to his lips, and I could feel his body go rigid momentarily before he reciprocated. I threw my arms around his neck, and he simply cradled me close. Okay. I was not sure how long I remained in his embrace, but I knew I couldn't stay there forever. I carefully pulled away and stood up. Night, Kerr. I'll see you in the morning. You're not staying? Despite his yearning plead, I remained firm with my decision. I've said this before, heavenkind don't nestle together. I trailed off when I realized the situation might be different between two people in love, and my heart beat frantically. Good night, Kerr. They love each other, guys. Well, let's see what happens.
I hesitantly retreated to my bedroom, trying to quell these flustered emotions. Nothing would have happened anyway, would it? Even so, I wasn't prepared to spend the night with one person. Everything I read about the Night Code of Conducts never covered this, and my mom's advice with men could only help me so far. I had no idea how to react in the situation, and I didn't want Kerr to see me so anxious. I felt guilty for immediately retreating, but I needed time. Crawling into my bed, I propped my scabbard next to the frame so it was always within reach, and curled up under the blanket. As my feelings eventually settled down, I was able to fall into a dreamless sleep. Morning. Although I was slowly waking up, my body felt heavy, and I wasn't looking forward to the day ahead. I would have to say goodbye to both Kerr and Mari. I exhaled loudly, but then chided myself for feeling down already. Terrible. At least see them off with a smile. I wonder how Kerr... As I removed the blanket, it was pinned under something. I looked back curiously. Oh, hello there, Kerr. I wish I could see this! Anyway, Kerr was kneeling beside the bed, upper body resting on the mattress and fabric with his head in his folded arms. His closed eyes were practically obscured by his brown hair. Acorn. What? Instinctively, I reached for my scabbard, but only met with air. I ended up toppling off the bed in my rush, hitting the floor with a thud. The noise caused Kerr to stir. I didn't see my sword anywhere during my frantic search. Kerr opened his eyes and sat up, while I stared at him in bewilderment. What are you doing here? I immediately hushed up, lest my parents heard. Where's my sword? It was here when... Kerr gave me a sheepish look. Sorry, I knew you'd probably skewer me first and ask questions later, so I moved it. Clever boy. Skewering you would be completely rational in a situation like this. What are you doing here? Sneaking into someone's bedroom is... Kerr balked and rubbed his head bashfully, leaving his hand on his forehead. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. I don't want to spend the last night away from you. And you would have refused if I'd asked. Well, yeah. I rubbed my face, taking a deep breath, reminding myself that there was a conflict in how we expressed endearment. From his point of view, I was probably being distant. Well, for me, he was invading my personal space. We needed a way to meet in the middle. I solved that predicament by throwing a pillow at him. Don't do that. Ask next time. Kerr tossed the pillow back, and I caught it deftly. It might be a while before I even get the chance to ask you again. Good. I might be mentally prepared to say yes, then. And to think it used to be you that hated being touched. Because dragonkind bond through touching, and you wouldn't get your grubby hands off me in the beginning. I reflected back to the situation and realized it. Ah, now that you think about it, sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean to make it awkward for you. The music just died. I still have a lot to learn about dragonkind. Kerr's fingers grazed on his ears pensively. Do the differences bother you? I chuckled and casually tossed my pillow back on the bed. Of course not. Despite some blunders, we'd always strive to understand each other. Even if dragonkind and heavenkind express their affection, not infection, in different ways. He approached me and comfortingly placed his hands on my arms. Oh, it's starting to happen, guys. I can't read. He leaned in, his face itching closer to my neck before he paused, gauging my reaction. I shyly turned to one side, feeling my cheeks go warm. Instead of a nudge like I was expecting, it was a gentle kiss, and he pulled away. His tender expression melted into a wry smile. Oh, he's so cute. Thanks for not panicking this time. Thanks for actually giving me a moment to get my bearings. I'll try not to be so nervous next time. We'll definitely be able to see each other soon again, right? Promise. We fell silent, simply enjoying each other's company until one question had pestered me for long enough. I tilted my face so it was close to his ear. Kerr, where did you put my sword? He chuckled nervously, and I saw his face turning towards the window. You did not. If I'd kept it in your room, you would have... I gave him a gentle shove and scurried off the bed. Go fetch Mari. I'll meet up with you in a few minutes. He mustered a tender smile. Sure. I don't want it to be over. I present these offerings to pray for a safe trip and... We're suddenly in the cave. Hey! Kerr snatched one of the apple tarts I'd laid out in front of the dragon altar. What? They're an offering to us dragonkind, so they're obviously mine for the taking. No, that's not how it's supposed to work.
I futilely tried to snatch the treat out of his outstretched arm, but he placed a hand on my forehead and held me away. Mari appeared and smiled at us in amusement. Nice to see us all energetic. Oh, wrong voice again, whatever. Despite that, there was a despondent edge to his voice, and his smile drooped. He approached the altar and, after some hesitation, knelt down and put the glass-blown ornament beside the pedestal. Kerr and I immediately stopped our teasing, and I touched Mari's shoulder in concern. You're not taking it with you? No, I think it'll be better if it stayed with you. Kerr and I will be working together, so I want you to have something to remember us by. He gauged the size of the cave. I'll be outside. Kerr needs to be close to the altar to transform back, since his master has to completely remove the curse. Right, meet you outside. I thought about leaving as well to give Kerr some space, but I paused when I saw him pick up the discarding walking stick from long ago. He twirled it in his hands, then looked at me. This brings back a lot of memories. He poked me with it, and I shielded myself with exposed palms. Hey, hit me with that and I'll confiscate it. He laughed and turned it sideways as he presented it to me. I hugged the stick close before propping it against the altar beside Mari's blue pendant ornament. Besides the missing apple tarts, I hoped it was a satisfying offer to the wise dragons. I stood in front of the statue for a few moments before stepping to the side to allow Kerr some room. He reluctantly knelt down, one open palm on the ground as he lowered his head. His eyes remained open, and then he got up once again. Approaching me, he took hold of my hands and elevated them, his thumbs rubbing my fingers tenderly. After examining them for a few moments, he sighed defeatedly. What's wrong? Regretting that I didn't learn the transformation spell. It'll be a while before we could do anything like this again. I smirked dryly. Well, you could always disobey your master and get cursed a second time. Ugh, I'm not going through that again. That reminds me, what exactly did you say that got you into so much trouble? He let go of my hands and averted his eyes. Does it really matter? My opinions have changed since then. I want to know. What did you say once? Let sleeping dragons lie? Now it's made me more curious. Not saying. Come on. Really not. Please, please. Over. With strong arms, he embraced me closely, effectively causing me to quiet down as I felt his face pressed against my chest. Still have no idea how to react when I did this, huh? Acorn. Slowly I wrapped my arms around him, enveloped in his warmth. Really going to miss you. I shyly glanced up and, with a whim of courage, stood on my tiptoes and delivered a kiss to his neck. He glanced down at me in surprise, then smiled warmly before touching his forehead to mine. Thanks again for everything, Aura. We remained there for a few moments before Kerr reluctantly stepped back and turned to the altar. I stepped back, lingering close to the cave wall. Kerr knelt down and then glimpsed in my position. You, need to move back. Oh, right. I shuffled back a few paces. Farther. Here? No, farther. Now you're just messing with me. Have you ever seen an earth dragon before? Just you and your heaven-kind-sized. Which is not an accurate representation, as you'll see in a minute. I want to see! I was practically hugging the cave at the corner, expecting a flash. I shielded my eyes and slightly averted them. I could hear some mumbling, but I was too far away to comprehend it. As predicted, Kerr was engulfed in a bright light, which expanded and took shape before materializing into his true form. Yay! We get to see it! He does have purple eyes still. Yay! Unlike the lithe and serpent-like water dragon, the earth dragon was bulky, with powerful limbs, folded wings, and overlapping armor that ran down from its neck to the end of its tail. Oh yeah, you can kind of see that. It had rock-like jets protruding from its elbows and knees. I gaped and cautiously took a step forward. The ears and the earthy tones reminded me of Kerr, but I had underestimated how fearsome he would appear in his true body. Kerr? He took a step, his large weight causing the cave to tremble. I immediately grasped the wall, not wanting to pitifully kneel down in fear. His large eyes widened, and his next step was more cautious, like a cat getting ready to pounce. I know. Tremors aside, I could still take you on in a fair fight. A proud snort was heard, and his head loomed over me before lowering. I'd like to see you try. His voice was deeper with a natural growl to it, but it was definitely Kerr. Kerr nudged me with his snout, and I took an unstable step back. Easy there. Sadly, we can't grapple on the grass playfully anymore. Come on, Mari's waiting. Once we strolled outside, Mari was waiting patiently and quickly approached me before I and Kerr. Oh, look, we actually get to see him in that right there. All ready to go? I mustered a small smile. Yeah, I'll see you two off as well. It'll be a nice walk until we reach the river. Kerr, why don't you give us a ride? Kerr flapped his wings indigently. Ara, your teasing is rubbing off on him. I was actually thinking the same exact thing. Can you fly me at least, please? He folded the wings and grumbled, expanding a claw in the dirt. Unless there's a mountaintop I can glide off of, my wings are pretty much useless. I gave Kerr a blank stare as I slowly registered the news and couldn't hide my disappointment. Ah. What do you expect from an earth dragon? That's like expecting Mari to walk on land. Hey! At least I can move around in this form. You, on the other hand. I started laughing. At first it was simply a giggle, but it soon grew into a full chuckle. I didn't think it was purely from their antics, as I realized that my eyes were moist and I blinked it away. I'm really gonna miss this. I wanted to ask for them to stay, question whether they really had to go back, but I knew it was hard for them too. When we reached the river, Mari took a few reluctant steps forward before he twirled around and hugged me close. Thank you for everything, Orly. I promise we'll see you again. I'll help train Kerr so he can transform on his own as well. Is it a difficult spell? Mari's loud sigh explained everything, and he eyed Kerr warily. We dropped our arms and parted from our embrace. It'll take time. For now, we have to explain the full situation to our masters, which will most definitely strain the relationship between Dragonkind and Heavenkind. Kerr hissed and fluttered his wings. What a hassle. But it's something they should be made aware of for now, before the situation potentially gets worse, or else there'll be real tensions to worry about. Real. Yeah, that makes sense. I jutted my chest with a thumb. I'll be busy providing services to traveling merchants passing through Berry for now. I'll make sure all shipments going in and out are verified. Not as glamorous as knighthood, but I think it's important. Now, get going. We're obviously stalling. I backed away, giving Mari some room. The mist enveloped him, and a large shape stretched and loomed before me, followed by a splash. When the fog had evaporated, Mari's neck and head were still visible from above the water. A thought occurred to me, and I motioned Kerr to lower his ears. Hey Kerr, do me a favor. I reached up and patted his muzzle. Give Mari his beach back. His nostrils flared, but he made a small jerking motion with his head that resembled a nod. Good. If you do, I'll promise to visit you both, somehow. Like a puppy demanding attention, Mari nudged my shoulder with his snout until I turned and patted it as well. Play nice, you two. We'll be fine. Take care, Arlie. Satisfied, Mari retreated to the river while Kerr began walking upstream. I was surprised Kerr didn't vocalize a goodbye. However, he glanced back momentarily, and I smiled to myself. He didn't handle partings that well. Take care, Kerr, Mari. I fought the urge to run alongside them, and instead waved at them fervently until they disappeared from sight. Knowing I would break down sobbing if I continued to stand there, I returned to the cave. I smiled wistfully as I picked up the glass ornament and the crude walking stick. Once I had arranged them in front of the dragon statue, I made a prayer to the altar. Not sure if this communication works between anyone, or just between Dragonkind. I should have asked. How silly of me. But, please take care of those two for me. They're both important to me, and I'll be lonely without them. I have a feeling they'll be preoccupied with a lot of things before we could see each other again. Satisfied with my conclusion, I sauntered outside of the altar, with Mari's gift in my hand and Kerr's walking stick in my hand. Oh, Mari's gift in my bag and the stick in my hand. The vivid redness of autumn had died, replaced by bare trees and a noticeable nip in the air. The heaviness I had felt in my heart disappeared, replaced instead by a strong buoyancy. I knew I would see Kerr and Mari again, but for now, I have to finish my patrol first. Never thought I'd actually miss those. Oh, we get to see the concept art. Looks just like her. Yeah. Kerr made a good-looking human. Man, Mari had really long hair. Well, I guess Kerr had really long hair too. It was so cute, guys. Why is it over? Oh, look at their original arts. I don't know. I feel like there should have been a little bit more between Kerr and Aurelie, but it was super cute how, you know, they actually showed some affection towards each other, even though they're two different entire species. But it was cute. I liked it a lot. It was really good. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. It's like, I'm glad we actually got to see him in dragon form, though. Oh yeah, so there was voice acting for this game, guys. I did turn it off because I didn't like it. I prefer to read my own lines. I wanted to keep the guys on, but I decided against it. It sounded kind of not necessarily bad, but I felt like it would have offsetted like my audio. Oh! No. But so that's why I did turn it off for that. I would actually really like to like do a collab with some other visual novel YouTubers, maybe like 2 guys or something, like a few guys and a girl, so like that way we can have like all the characters have voices, because you've heard my guy voices. That's the best I can do. The voice effects were really good though for the dragons, but that's something I want to do for like the next visual novel. But I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Aww. That was so cute. And that's it. That's Autumn's journey for Kerr's route. Which I imagine for like Mari's route, it would be like, oh god, that's really loud. I'm gonna take off my headphones. I imagine for like Mari's route, it'd kind of basically be the same as Kerr's. I don't know if you guys want me to do Mari's route or not. I just show like the few times when you could pick Mari instead of Kerr and those small like scenes, kind of like I've done in the past with like Halloween Otome, you know, and Alistair. I have not gotten around to doing the good ending on oh god, what was that other one I was playing? It's got Christina in it. Well, the other one I was playing anyway. That one's like, it's gonna take a lot of effort to get the good ending on that one. And honestly, since these episodes are only a week spread out, like one a week, it's really hard to like find the time to do that recently. Especially since I've been like planning my wedding and whatnot. Not a lot of time, so I'm trying my best. So hopefully I can get those out to you if you guys want them. I really think Mari's is going to be really easy to do. Like, honestly, if I hadn't read this story, it would have gone by a lot faster. Because, you know, you can read faster than you can, like, say it. Even though that's kind of weird, but... So let me know if you guys want me to do Mari next. You know, I totally loved Kerr's. So adorable. I don't know... You know, Kerr's obviously, like, the type of guy I like, if you haven't noticed from the last episodes. More or less, but I'll totally do Mari's if that's what you guys want. If not, I'm totally open to suggestions for the next Otome game. I have nothing planned, nothing at all, so any suggestions you guys have, I will totally look them up and consider every single one. If not, I'll just be like looking online at random Otome games and say, this one sounds kind of cool. But I do know that Amnesia is coming out for Steam soon. I don't know when that is, but I'm definitely going to be playing that when it is available on Steam. I know it's going to come out on the Vita first and then Steam, but that's something I am planning on doing because you guys like really seem to like these visual novels. And they're much easier to do than the RPG ones, which I will eventually do again. So anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed my playthrough of Autumn's Journey. Obviously, I went for Kerr. I don't know, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless, and I hope to see you all at the next video. And honestly, if you've all like stuck out with this since the beginning, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed every minute of it, and I apologize for my bad man voices. Anyway, guys, see you all at the next episode. Until then, bye everyone!